Hello everyone.
Zia Youssef, welcome. You've come fresh from a Reform Party press conference this morning. Last week you were Reform Party chairman. This morning you have been watching your colleague David Bull named as party chairman. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel very good. It's great to be back. It's great to be back. And, you know, in those 48 hours or so that passed after I sent that tweet, which I now regret, I was inundated with messages, emails, DMs from people who told me how important reform was to them. You know, it's much more than a political party. It is a movement, they believe, which frankly, many of these people were putting in their messages. It represents, for many of them, the last hope the country has to turn itself around. And I'm paraphrasing what almost all the messages said. They were lovely, they were heartfelt, they also underscored how important they thought I was within the movement. And many of them were just very declaratively asking me to reconsider. And as is often the case, as I said at the press conference, and I think people watching this hopefully can empathize with this, sometimes it takes a little distance from someone or something for you to realize how important something is. And so those things coming together just made me realize, look, I'd made a mistake. I think this is the most important work of my life. I came into politics out of a sense of duty. You know, I worked in the city, I've worked in business, thankfully.
Made a lot of money.
Yeah, well, thankfully, I no longer need to work for money. And, you know, I love this country. It's a country that, as we were just saying before we started recording, has been so kind to my parents who came here in the early 1980s, presented me with such immense opportunity. And I felt like I couldn't let people down.
Do you know what that smells like?
Okay, if you're a Reform voter, I just want to ask you a question. I'll leave it for the end, but I just want to set the groundwork now, okay? So Zia is a person that's came from absolutely nowhere. He's got heavy ties with Goldman Sachs, which is never a good thing for a country, ever. He also seems to have a real problem when it comes to any kind of criticism of Islam. He's shut down entire branches for wanting to end cousin marriage, for instance. And the latest scandal, the one that actually ended up with him leaving the party, was him trying to, I think, get Sarah Porchin fired for trying to ban the burqa, or just talking about banning the burqa. So this is a man that is against free speech. And this isn't even getting to the fact that he tried to get Rupert Law arrested under false charges, kicked him out the party for no reason whatsoever other than he's incredibly popular. Probably has something to do with his stance on Islam and, you know, mass deportations as well. So everything that we actually want to vote for in the Reform Party, I'm assuming, right? That's why you're voting for reform. You want to end mass immigration. You want to ban the burqa. You want to take control of your own country. So all of the things that you want to vote for, he seems against. Oh, and he's also introducing the Britannia card.
An important economic announcement from Reform today. We're introducing the Britannia card. For centuries, Britain was a powerhouse on the global stage, a magnet for global talent and treasure. A Reform government with Nigel as Prime Minister will make Britain a prosperous and powerful country again. To do that, we must be honest about a key ingredient for a thriving economy. We need the brightest and best entrepreneurs, wealth and job creators to be here in the UK. But they're fleeing in record numbers, fleeing to Dubai, to Singapore and to America, chased away by a procession of disastrous Tory and Labour chancellors. That's a big reason why everyone feels poorer in Britain. So, reform will make Britain attractive to the international wealth creators, but they must pay for the privilege of living in Britain. So they'll pay a £250,000 landing fee, which gets them a Britannia card, so no tax on foreign earnings.
There you go, guys. For £250,000, Zia Youssef, as English as you and me, has decided that any fucker can come and be British now.
And here's the key. All of that money will go straight to the lowest 10% of earners in full-time work in Britain.
Translation, that money will go to the immigrants that are currently replacing you in your own country because they are working the lowest menial jobs and they will need the biggest amount of support. So I think the translation there is more money to the people that are replacing you.
Based on conservative assumptions about uptake for this card, this means £600 to £1,000 every year to the lowest paid
Foreigners, to the lowest paid foreigners.
full-time British workers. We call it the Britannia Workers' Dividend. This policy will boost economic growth in Britain, boost tax intake, boost earnings for those grafting for the lowest pay.
All right, that's enough of that. Okay, so what I want to ask you is, you're going to put your faith in this party that seems surrounded by controversy and sinister actions. But sure, okay, you're going to put your faith in the party. I just want to ask you, do you really think that this guy is the guy? Like, he seems everywhere. He's being pushed by someone to say the right things, to have the right interviews, his airtime has gone up like 1,000%. Is there a reason behind that? Should you be cautious in throwing your full support behind a party that doesn't seem to answer any questions? It is the future of our country that's at stake. So I'm just asking you, do you really want to bet the house on Zaya Youssef? Now, just before I go, I want to point something else out, and it's a little bit weird. I think it's a bit weird. You can tell me if it's a bit weird. Nigel Farage has earned £140,000 since he was an MP by making these things called cameos. And it's basically someone pays him to say whatever they want, and he'll go on that camera and literally say whatever you've paid him to say.
Sigma Spider climbed up the skibbity spout. And that spider is you, Top Sigma James. Yes, it is. This is Nigel Farage wishing you a big chungus. Congratulations for being the top G skibbity alpha male. We all promise to hawk tour on your bussy as it claps. And this message, James, is sponsored by Sam, Matthew, Finn, and Mo Lester. Guys, you sound like a great...
That is kind of a chilling analogy of what we assume politicians are like in this country. They will literally say anything that they're paid to say. Again, like, guys, you want to bet the house on these guys?